Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to have videos of the paid request, this time for Guillermo. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, PayPal is usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Links are in the info box, which they'll be either over there or maybe over there. But one of the films Guillermo wanted me to look into was For Sale, which I had never heard of. And then I saw on IMDb it gets a 4.8 out of 10 IMDb. I went, oh boy, a 4.8 is not that good. I will say though, watching this, it's not that horrible. It's just not that memorable. Like, it's one of those movies that I watch, and I didn't hate the film. I didn't. But at the same time, I do think the film was a bit too long. Because it's almost, I think almost 2 hours long. And yeah, I'm looking up to double check. Yeah, about 2 hours long. I'm sitting there going, does it need to be this long? Because there's not a whole lot of story in the movie. It's watchable because I didn't mind the lead actor. The lead actor plays this guy who's a salesman. At this point in his life, he sells cars, but he'll do shady things. For example, if someone says, well, wait a minute, this car, I thought it was supposed to be brand new. Oh, it is. Yeah, but I thought I saw paperwork that there was damage on it. No, there isn't. So he gets the paperwork and then he puts some stuff to show that there's no damage. There is damage, but he makes it so that he puts it on, then he does a copy. See, you can buy this car. See, it hasn't been damaged at all. But in reality, it's bright. I don't know, something about it was broken. I don't know. Maybe they didn't know about it yet, or maybe they had questions about it, but then the guy lied about it. He'll do anything to make a deal and sell. I mean, there's even a bit of a backstory. They don't delve in too much, but they delve in like a teeny bit, a little bit, where he kind of screwed his mom out of her house, where there was a chance he could have saved her house, but then put her in a retirement home, whatever, in order to sell the house and pocket the change of the money. So he's not a good guy, but at the same time, I didn't mind the actor. I thought he played that type of character decently well, to the point it made me interested to see what happened to him next. But yeah, his boss finds out his shady dealings. He sold it to the wrong people, this other vehicle. Someone's got to take the fall. You don't want to take the fall. So not only does he get fired, but then this woman he's with, he gets dumped by her and thrown out. And then he's like trying to talk to get another job, and then he thinks he might have a prospect, but his phone dies, and he gets mad about it. And the way he's getting mad did make me kind of chuckle for a bit. Until he finds opportunity for people looking for salesmen, and he goes, and this bigger guy tells him about this property. Doesn't tell him though, at least not everything about it. For example, it's haunted. But our lead guy doesn't know this yet. So he goes to the property. It's also fortunate because he doesn't have a place to stay, so he can stay here and relax while he tries to sell it. And it is a slow burn. Like, it's a slow burn. You can almost say too slow of a burn, because it's the buildup of what I talked about, the situation at hand, and then slowly, like, a cupboard is opened up, and there's not a knife there. Another day, it opened and there's two knives there. He has these weird dreams of like people pounding on the window or the door. He'll wake up and he's on the floor. He'll try to sell people this house, but then they hear a noise. They open up a door and a bunch of chairs have bundled there in front of the door. I do like the line he says where he tries to go, it's a smart home. See, the furniture, it'll even move on its own. It's a smart home. So I guess I like the lead guy's performance. Maybe it's not so much the character, but his lead performance of him trying to do whatever he can to sell this place. And it's one of those guys that I know this sounds weird. You ever see an actor that I don't know what this guy's done, but he reminds me of someone else that I've seen? He's one of those guys. And again, I don't know what he's done, and that's why I'm trying to look this up. So I apologize if why I keep looking at the phone because I'm bad with names. But yeah, it's one of those scenes where if there's anything noteworthy that someone's going to take from this film, it might be that guy. But even then, maybe I'm putting a bit too much emphasis on that because the rest of it's very low budget. You can tell they didn't have much money. Most of it is this one location of this house that's fairly empty, except for a few speckings of furniture. Yeah, this is the guy here. I think it's Andrew Roth is his name. I don't know what else he's done. The rest of the actors, they're kind of okay or subpar. I know this is the only film he's. Well, no. Sorry, let me look. He's acted before, but nothing I recognize. Because, like, these are the titles Project 7, Fright World, Inner Rage, 48 Hours in Purgatory, 15 Till Midnight. He was, I guess, in a short fan film where he played Phil Coulson, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay. So, definitely not a well known actor or anything. I'm sorry, I'm just making sure, looking that up. But anyway, I know it's about 7 minutes in. You're thinking, well, what about the rest of the movie? When it's him by himself trying to get one over on the ghost, there's some kind of fun I had with it. Where he's like trying to get the house settled where the ghost can't do anything, so he's like tying up the cupboards that keep popping up, or he moves the chair somewhere else, or he puts a door stopper so when the door tries to close, it stops, and he's like, "Suck it, ghosts." And then there's a second couple that he shows, but you know something's up with the couple, and lo and behold, they're a dead couple, and he freaks out because the one of them, the lady turns and there's a knife in her head. There's one point where the door tries to close, but it stops, and he's like, "That's right, biatch." Blaze, it's nothing that you haven't seen before in a variety of movies in terms of hauntings. It's never creepy or atmospheric. It's very low budget. Granted, I appreciate there's not a lot of CGI in it, but you see, a couple ghosts. Like I said, the couple, one with a knife in their head. This older woman with like wide eyes, but nothing that's going to make you remember it much afterward. Again, he has dreams. One of them is he's amongst skeletons. But like I said, you could tell it's just a very cheap production. Just the way it's shot, the way it looks, the lack of variety of environments. He gets this psychic lady, and she's pretty monotone. I guess that's the point, and seems very bitchy. Like she goes into the house and she gets possessed, and she punches the guy. And then when she's out of it, she just goes, "Sorry," and just walks away. And then you see, like, the film is trying to be kind of comedic, and then it takes a bit of a darker turn that I don't know worked the best consistently. And again, it's a fairly long movie, so if it did drag a lot, I definitely think that's why. So for that reason, I get the low ratings. I won't defend the film. It's just that I've seen much worse films, but I do think a good 20 minutes could have been cut out of this. I think the humor could have been much more punchier, much more tighter, much more funnier with a guy trying to sell a haunted house. I think there's a lot more you could have gotten out of that concept alone. Just all the different ways that he's trying to sell this house. They do stuff, he does stuff to counteract that. Some of it works, but some of it doesn't. The next time he shows it, damn it, so he does more to counteract that. It looks like he's going well, but then something else happens, damn it, I'm going to do this as well. Just this kind of this battle of wills between a real estate guy who's determined and ghosts who are more determined. So you have these determined forces going at each other, trying to one-up each other. You think that's scary? Should have seen the last boss I had. That's scary. And that's it. They have the guy like not be scared, not be freaked out, and the ghosts are like get more annoyed by him. Like at first, oh, I'm going to scare you. Then have the ghosts be like, these guys pissing me off. I won't get you. You ain't gonna get squat. See, I think that could have been a lot more funnier, but instead, it takes too long to build up with not enough. There's a couple little chuckle-worthy moments for me, but it wasn't enough based on the very dragged out pacing. And then, again, the spoilers. She gets possessed again. He has to protect himself, stabs her. I did like his reaction. Ooh. And then he's like, okay, what do I do? Okay, you just murdered someone. Do I have to bury her? I also did like the line he says, stop being possessed. It's a total cliche. But he buries her. He's able to sell the place. Then you find out that his boss actually knew about all this all along and said, man, I was cursed with this place. And you used it with your life. So now that poor sap who owns it, he's going to be cursed until the day he dies. So the lead guy is a bit perturbed by that. So he calls the guy, then finds out that the guy he sold it to has a young daughter. So lo and behold, he tries to do the right thing. And he does so, and he does suck up to his own sins. He apologizes for what he did to his mom. He's going to have retribution by saving this guy and his daughter. There's a bit of a standoff where he has a lighter. The psychic lady is dead, but she's a ghost there, but she helps the guy. Me for them. Ultimately, the ghost lets those two go. He seals the deal. And so now the film is him and the psychic lady trapped. But he seems kind of happy there because, wow, I get to be in this house, but I don't have to worry about the stress of selling. And so they open up the drawers to scare people out. They move the chairs to scare people out. But it just feels like, I get that it's like trying to be very quirky, funny, weird type of ending. Not typical, like they're trapped here forever, but at the same time, they'll make do with it. But it just, I don't know, it just didn't feel satisfying to me. I don't know how else to put it. Just didn't feel that satisfying or that fun of an ending. Like, okay, well, the psychic lady didn't really deserve this, and the guy at least redeemed himself. But by redeeming himself, he's now trapped here in purgatory forever. But at the same time, at least I guess he's not suffering or anything. And it's not some big bombastic ending. There's really not much in terms of gore or kills or anything of that sort. I don't think there's really going to be any scenes that people are creeped out or scared by. And the few that it tries are stuff you've seen done 50 times. So that's for me, like, other than maybe if you don't mind the lead guy. So at best, it's watchable, but for. And let me get the exact running time of this. It is 2 hours, but let me get the exact running time. Sorry, I should have wrote this stuff down. I apologize. Because this is a sign to see a guy typing on his fucking phone. It's great. I just see a lot of people going, it's not for me. And trust me, it's really not for me either. Like, I would never see the film again. I would say I don't really like the film, but I don't hate the film. And that's what I mean by that is, well, that's confusing. You realize I've seen a lot of movies. Now, there's movies that are just intolerable. This wasn't intolerable. It was just, it's kind of boring. It runs a bit too long. I would never see the film again. Yeah, an hour and 55 minutes. I think that's too long for this kind of story. And it should have been much more of a, like I said, if it was more of a satire of real estate agents and just how tricky they can be, that even ghosts won't stop them, even ghosts can be worried or scared or freaked out by them, or just, again, this battle of wills between these two, going back and forth, with a more tighter pacing. I think that could have helped. But as is, it kind of just, like I said, I think it just goes on a bit too long, and like I said, the when it gets to after the psychic passes away, any amount of humor, it doesn't really follow through. Like, it kind of, there's not really much attempt at being funny after that. Like the last, what would it be, 20, 30 minutes. So yeah, just not for me. I would never see the film again. That's just me, though. Well, obviously not just me. Just a 4 point. So you know what? Now that I say it all the way through, the 4.8 is deserved. Like I said, I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I don't think it's the god awful one of the, but it's just too. It dreads out too much. It's too boring. It should have had much tighter editing. I think the second half kind of the tone shifts almost maybe a bit too much, and the ending, like, I get how quirky it's supposed to be, but just wasn't that satisfying. And I think a better, tighter script could have helped this a lot. Much funnier, punchier script would have helped this a lot. As well as, maybe, more stuff happening with the ghost shenanigans. Like I said, it's very rudimentary, very tame for the most part. No idea whether it be a lack of budget or the director. I don't know what else the director has done. Whether that be the case, yeah, I would never see the film again. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.